What happened to him?
He tried to review Senran Kagura Reflections. I cannot imagine what horrors he has witnessed. We did everything we can for him. All we can do now is wait.
Don't worry. I will complete that review in your name and it won't be a burden on you by the time you wake up. Whew. I have to do this. Let's start. Felicitations, aficionados. I'll have you know, I'm no stranger to art, and today I'm bringing you one of the art pieces of all time. Would I call this art good? I have no comment on that. You'll have to decide on your own. However, I must say, my pain inhibitors were working overtime while making this review. Without further ado, let us hear today's questions. Do you want to see utmost disgust from your friends, family, and the FBI? Have you had enough of food fetishists all over the internet and tired that your hand fetish goes unfulfilled most of the time? And lastly, have you missed your chance at having a love life and will do anything to at least have a little bit of experience on the said subject? If all of the answers to these questions are positive, let us dive right in to Senran Kagura Reflections. Straight up the moment I enter the game, it is already visible. I want to kill myself. You start your journey with Asuka. You meet with her in the classroom and then start rubbing your hands. When people would say women are creatures far beyond our comprehension, I didn't mind it back then. But after seeing this game, I now fully understand. You see, when rubbing your date's hands and fingers, you activate receptors that trigger a specific fantasy scenario in her mind corresponding to the receptor you triggered. In the said fantasy scenarios, they imagine themselves in different problems that end up having the same solution, which is groping her on different areas until she is very happy, and then start a massaging minigame that requires utmost precision to complete. After the family-friendly climax, you unlock a piece of her heart, and as you continue to gather more, it unlocks a date scene that you yearned for. You can customize your date perfectly to your taste. And if you really want to change the core piece, there are DLCs that let you date different Senran Kagura characters. You complete your dates, you make your perfect waifu, and now there is only one thing left to do. Giving head to your comrade in arms, because this may be the only thing that can save their life in the last spell. We are under attack, and your orders are required for us to survive. Spoiler alert, we will die many times during our journeys. What is the last spell though? It is a turn-based tactics game where you defend your haven against the unwashed masses. It isn't as easy as hitting people as they come close. You need to approach tactically in the said situation. You need to set up your defenses, manage your economy, and most obviously, stay alive. In the last spell, your main defense is provided by your heroes. Every run makes you start with different lobotomites. That is why you don't need to get too attached to them. Not only for after they live to tell the tale, but for after they die horribly as well. Every single hero has 2 weapon sets that help them thwart guests from eating them alive. The weapons that can be equipped are quite varied. You can slash them in 2, bash their heads in, shoot them with countless arrows and bolts, burn or shock them with magic. Possibilities aren't endless, but god, do they feel good. If any of you played this game, you may talk shit about certain weapons in the game, but you cannot deny, every single weapon has its own strengths and they show it very clearly. You need melee AoE, axes and spears, single target, swords and daggers, crowd control, hammers. Enemies have too much armor? Crossbow and hand crossbow can pierce armor. Need range and AoE? Short bow is the king. Need range and single target damage? Rifle and long bow. Enemies have too much block? Single-handed hammer and crossbow can ignore block. Enemies come around with high resistance? All magic damage from all magic weapons ignore half of the target's resistance. As long as you have the right tools and enough action points by your heroes, knights are survivable. Maybe. But with variety amount like this, the last spell is specifically engineered to make sure whatever your build is with your heroes, they are wrong. Enemies with a lot of armor around? I hope you rolled the right stats to make your physical damage hero to deal with them. A Twisted entered the fray, magic damage dealer or resistance reduction based hero. Otherwise, that Twisted is not going to die. Lacked on the damage department but managed to survive some nights? Here are several bulkies. Let us talk about heroes. Every unit in the game has stats that they show on them. For every level up, you choose a primary and a secondary stat to upgrade with shared rerolls. To explain some, armor. It's basically a second health bar, however, it recovers fully every turn, unlike HP. Block gives you flat damage reduction. Resistance is percentage based reduction. Accuracy removes a flat amount of dodge percentage from the target during the attack. Resistance reduction removes a flat amount of resistance from the target during the attack. Rest are self-explanatory. As for the secondary attributes, all are also self-explanatory. But to point some out, Isolation multiplies damage against targets with no allies near them. Opportunism multiplies damage if the target has debuffs. You can also multiply your specific damage types on a set hero. When you combine a build with the right stats, the damage amount you get can be quite staggering. What are the differences though? Physical deals 2 times more damage to target's armor. Ranged lets you be safe. But more distance you use, less accurate your shots become. And magic. Magic doesn't have a downside. It ignores half of the resistance, and that's it. In one of the reviews I saw a line. It said, the Dark Souls of the roguelike games. And they were right. You will keep dying on the same haven over and over again until you succeed, and feel the orgasmic pleasure of beating the level. The path to success will possibly include infinite aging with sandpaper though. However, this isn't the reason why they said it. The reason is actually the mages, and anything magic related being easier to use, which will make people call you scrub if they catch you using it. This is even visible in the game's dialogues. If you are a mage, you are considered subhuman and unlovable. So it is safe to say that the world of the last spell is basically the Dark Souls Reddit. And they have my full support. Anyway, while you may think how you spend these stats actually decides the fate of your heroes, what actually decides it is the perks page. Here, your heroes will be able to select perks per level up to 10 perks in total. And before I get into them, I really love the pinning animation on a perk. I mean, look at this, it's beautiful. Anyway, there are combinations that make the game possible to beat in the later levels, such as Poison Perk Tree, combined with Tube Propagation based perks, which lets your Druid Staff user clear a bigger sided wave by their own. Physical damage bonus based on a hero's max HP, combined with extra armor and armor to HP transformation. Or a Poison Perk Tree on a tank, which lets you send an unkillable smelly person into the fray, and let the enemy succumb to the putrid stench. Literally any tank with Berserk. Just give them a few turns to wind up, and they will both won't die and will hit harder than your daddy using the belt. And for a last example, if you roll all 3 crit perks on one character and pick them up, as you use your mana, your crit rate will reach around 70%. In perks, there are still mage shenanigans going on as well. Because I can confidently say, if you will play this game, 90% of your characters will pick stuff from the Mage Perk tree. More often than not, they are usable by every hero. So, whatever you do, you better start building your heroes after checking the perk tree, because traits aren't enough. Characters you can come around can be quite interesting with the traits. Perverts can come around in your tavern in the name of nudists and exhibitionists, or they can be the happy ending to a fantasy rape doujinshi. What, your character rolled the perfect trait to be a poison damage user? Perfect. Here are your perk trees without poison. Your character just got godlike boost on their ranged and magic damage through the traits. Your perk deck will now be perfect to build a physical damage character. And as it is in real life, nobody likes a nihilist. And if you roll one, I think this haven needs to be abandoned to its doom. We talked about our mobile defenses, but what about our static defense options? We have Ballista. Ballista with legs, Catapult, and Traps. Little side note, without omens, traps suck deck. because they only have 2 charges per night, and every morning you will have to repair them. And if you're planning to rely on static defenses, omens are required again, especially the Omen of the Engineer. Picking it makes your ballistae hit 1 more tile and make catapults hit basically twice its size. As an addition to that, you can upgrade ballistae to make them fire twice per turn. With the Omen, that means a ballista can hit 4 targets per turn. Quite strong, if I have to say so myself. While ballista with legs have more attack, its main utility is vision. For anything in this game to make an attack, they will require vision. Unless the attacks already have it. You can use wooden walls to skip the requirement for mounted ballistae at the cost of easily destroyable defense. Or you can choose to have stone walls as protection, which block vision, but they can take quite a lot of hits. Past the defenses, you have buildings. What kind of building order you will go for is entirely up to you. You want to focus economy, mines and camps. You want workforce for scavenging and stat upgrades, houses. You want constant equipment generation, any of the production buildings. However, there is one building that is superior to everything I just mentioned, the Seer. Seer can tell you the exact number and types of enemies that you will have to defend against. If you spare some workforce, you also can pinpoint their spawn. But Seer's main reason of existence is that it can push away the mist. More pushed away the mist is, more time it will take for unwashed masses to get close to your pure blood heaven. For the Seer, future is just a concept. You can tell your Seer to change the future and reroll the enemy composition. Quick tip, if you see Twisteds, just reroll. It's not worth the pain. Bulkies are a lot more cute and dealable with. But at the center of it all, you need to protect one thing and one thing only. A group of virgins. As long as the magic circle is kept intact, you won't lose the night. While defending, you will be rated by the IGN's top reviewers on your actions. If you let an unknown man cross the border, this will raise quite the panic for your peace-loving citizens. Keep out the aliens, and your citizens will be happy. More happiness equals to more free resources every day, and if they are really happy, even a free equipment. On the map, you can choose which haven's fate will be in your hands for several days. You can choose the difficulty and omens before starting a run. You unlock difficulties by beating the previous ones in any of the maps. If you unlock a difficulty on one map, it gets unlocked on all of them. So naturally, as a normal human being, I non-stop played the first map to unlock every single difficulty. A higher level difficulty automatically includes the ones from lower levels as well. But if I had to comment on the difficulties, it would be I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Help! I don't care. I beat the first map easily on all of them, and thought it would continue like this. My jokes may not be likable greatly, but damn, did I prank myself hard. And to keep a track record of your failures, every time you fail to get rid of them, there will be a tracker on every haven to show you how many times your tactical decisions brought end to the people of the said haven. Anyway, omens. They are important. You need to choose which ones you will take with the limited amount of slots you have. You also have a boundless mode that you can activate, which lets you pick as many omens as you want. I don't know if you can call this beating the game though. But if you complete the game like this, you probably selected the easy mode on Devil May Cry 3. But how do you unlock them though? Through Oraculum. In here, you can choose between light and darkness. Both have angel-like beings that talk to you throughout your failures. In the dark side, you can unlock stuff by paying the tainted essence you collect by killing enemies, scavenging, completing feats, and just simply beating the runs. By the time I was done with the first haven, I already had the dark side almost fully completed. What about the Path of Light? Just like all religions, Path of Light works with an achievement-like system. More achievements you achieve, more things you will unlock that will greatly benefit your runs. More you continue throughout the game, you will see that these angel-like beings will start to become physical beings. And more they gain power through your actions, more you realize you may be going down a bad path. But thinking about that is boring right now. We need more fun stuff, like customization. If you don't like how a character looks, you can customize them however you like. I will just give one example of many possibilities. Here is Heimlich Himmler, the man who invented suffocating and bees. This is all I will talk about this. Now, it is the part where I talk about helping you beat the game. I will not spoil any of the end bosses for any of the havens, but I will indirectly tell you what you can do to prepare. Except the first haven, Gildenberg. Harpies. They have pixelated tits, which makes this video okay to keep on YouTube, since there are HD yoga versions of them visible throughout the site. You will need to think about bosses as a race against time. Will you be able to kill the bosses before you get overrun by the endless waves? Since the first haven is basically the tutorial, or the training stage, Harpies won't be too much of a problem. On every boss encounter, your progress bar will change with a red skull, showing the progression on the way to beat the boss. More you progress the stages, more it will fill up. And after it fills up fully, you can think of it as the kill the boss to end it sign. They don't specifically have complex mechanics, so just kill when they land. Now, Lakeberg. Ideally, have 2 or 3 heavy-hitting characters. More ideally, make them have some skill range. Glenwald. You will need generally good damage and a lot of movement. Elderlecht. You will have all the time you need to get prepared for the boss, because Elderlecht consists of 14 knights. Have at least 2 characters that can single target nuke. Rest of your characters should focus on movement and action points. And lastly, Glenfane. You basically need everything for this one. You start with a blank canvas to build your haven. The problem is that you only have 7 knights to be prepared, which is quite RNG based on your stat rolls for you to get ready. I wish you luck on these. As for the story, during the time of war and bloodshed, a mage researched and discovered a very powerful ritual, and then he wanted to feel like a war criminal, which made him test his power on an enemy village. In the said enemy village, a neighboring kingdom's royal family was present. They all died, and this threw the king on a mad rage, telling the military to research how this magic works. Then he also pressed the button to commit a war crime, but this time on a major city. Envying these kingdoms and their toys, every single kingdom wanted this power. And then the fireworks started, which ended in only destruction. After the events, a mist started to rise, and monsters called Clovers started to appear. Amidst all of this, a man called Commander rose to the task of defending the havens, which is you, the one who gives orders. Because of what they did, mages were hanged or worse. I will leave it to your imagination what was happening to them. Fearing for their lives, mages tried to search for an answer. They found a solution. A spell. The last spell. They would break the remaining magic circles through a ritual to completely get rid of all the magic in the world. In the havens during the nights, you protect these mages for ritual to be completed. And when you manage it, I'm not telling you the rest. You will have to suffer just like I did to see the ending. Spoiler alert, it's open-ended and not very conclusive. Game only has 5 levels, but they keep you hooked for quite a while. And guess what? They are working for more levels as we are watching this, and I must say, I will be there for them. I give this game 3 harpies out of the remaining bosses. I actually quite recommend playing it if you are into turn-based stuff, or if you like losing several hours of your day to make no progress. If this game has taught me something, that is, genocide is okay. If it's for self-defense. Truly a gem. If my words cannot pull you in, let the game's artwork do. Look at these. These are some top quality looking artwork. And next to the artwork, there is the OST. And I must say, these tracks go really hard. It became a kind of ritual for me to just wait on the main menu, to listen to the menu track from start to finish. Have a listen on the tracks. With that, you probably have a question, like,
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
yes, this video was originally going to be an April Fool's joke. However, I miscalculated how fast I can beat the game and get enough footage for it. And I also was being very
productive.
This is why, whichever day this video uploads, officially will be the new Fool's Day all around the world. At least for this channel. I have my endless gratitude for my patrons for agreeing with me throughout this journey. Here's the hope, my
Productive.
laziness won't be the end of your hopes. And as for everyone else, thank you all for watching. Have a Chad missed Survivor Day.